How do political decisions reshape the landscape of democracy and freedom? Today, we delve into Georgia's controversial Foreign Agents Bill. Recently, the Georgian parliament passed this contentious legislation, requiring any organization receiving more than 20% of their funding from abroad to register as agents of foreign influence. This move has sparked widespread domestic and international condemnation. The European Union has particularly expressed concerns, warning that the bill could severely jeopardize Georgia's aspirations to join the bloc. This bill, seen by many as a step back for democracy, has ignited fierce debates and protests across the nation. The journey of the Foreign Agents Bill from proposal to approval was anything but smooth. Initially introduced to the Georgian parliament, the bill quickly became a lightning rod for controversy. It demanded that organizations receiving more than 20% of their funding from foreign sources register as agents of foreign influence, a mandate that many saw as an echo of similar Russian legislation used to suppress dissent. The response from the public was immediate and powerful. Tens of thousands of Georgians flooded the streets of Tbilisi, rallying against what they perceived as an encroachment on democratic freedoms and a pivot towards authoritarian governance. These protests united a broad spectrum of society, from everyday citizens to prominent political figures, all vocal in their opposition. Internationally, the bill did not go unnoticed. The European Union and the United States expressed significant concerns, highlighting the potential for democratic backsliding. Such international apprehension underscored the geopolitical tightrope Georgia walks, nestled between Russian influence and its aspirations towards European integration. As barriers were smashed and parliament grounds breached, the voice of the Georgian public grew louder, though the bill still passed. Despite overwhelming opposition, the Georgian parliament's final vote marked a decisive moment. The tally read 84 in favor, 30 against. This decision came amid a cacophony of dissent from citizens and international observers alike. As the bill was passed, riot police were quickly mobilized. They surged towards protesters who, in a burst of defiance, had torn down barriers and stormed the parliamentary grounds. This scene of chaos underscored the tension gripping the nation. In the midst of this turmoil, President Salome Zurabichvili stood firm on her promise to veto the bill. Yet, the path ahead is fraught with political maneuvering, as the parliament holds the power to override her veto with a simple majority. This tug-of-war between the executive and legislative branches throws into sharp relief the deep divisions within Georgian politics. The law's passage not only stirs fears of creeping authoritarianism, but also casts a long shadow over the upcoming elections. These elections are seen not just as a political contest, but as a pivotal moment that could either entrench or overturn the controversial legislation. With the majority of Georgians favoring European integration, the stakes are monumentally high. The nation stands at a crossroads, with its democratic credentials and European aspirations hanging in the balance. With the law's approval, a new chapter begins, one that could redefine Georgia's path towards or away from European integration. What does the future hold for Georgia, caught between the promise of Europe and the shadows of its Soviet past? The recent passage of the Foreign Agents Bill marks a pivotal moment for Georgia. This legislation, reminiscent of measures seen in Russia, could significantly alter the landscape of civil society and political freedoms within the country. By requiring organizations funded substantially from abroad to register as agents of foreign influence, the bill may stifle dissent and suppress the vibrant community of NGOs that has been instrumental in Georgia's democratic processes. Strategically, Georgia finds itself at a cultural and political crossroads. On one hand, there is a strong desire among the populace to integrate with the European Union, a sentiment reflected in the overwhelming support for EU membership. On the other, there are undeniable undercurrents of Russian influence perceived through the actions of the current administration and the legislative similarities to Russian laws. The role of public mobilization cannot be understated. The widespread protests and the stern opposition from various political factions underscore a society that is politically active and unwilling to forfeit its democratic ideals without a fight. Furthermore, international diplomacy plays a critical role, with entities like the European Union and the United States expressing deep concerns about the bill's implications for democracy and human rights in Georgia. As Georgia stands at a crossroads, the actions of its people and the responses from the global community will be crucial in shaping its destiny.